Today we're going to take a look at something a little bit different. I'll be smoking something on the Camp Chef Woodwind, but I'm powering it up through a Jackery Explorer 1000 solar generator. I was playing with this last week. I found the Camp Chef was surprisingly efficient. Once you get past the initial warm-up, it really didn't use much power at all. I'm making a small pork tenderloin today, so it's only going to run for a couple of hours. Um, and we'll take a look at how much power it uses off of the Jackery. I charged it up this morning. Right now we're at 100%. Let's go ahead and turn the Camp Chef on. Oh, also have to press this AC button. Remember correctly, give it a second to boot up. Just sitting idle, it doesn't really use any power. That's reflected on the output here. Go ahead and I will move this to startup mode. Cooking at 250 today. Smoke at 10, of course. And that will run for about 6 minutes. While that's going, I will start up my fire starter, green spark, that burn. Let's take a look at the Jackery. Now in startup mode, you can see it's using 245 watts, and it'll use that for about 5 or 6 minutes until it comes out of this startup mode. All right, looks like we are just about done with the startup. 5 seconds left. Now if I take a look back at the Jackery, see we're now down to 57 watts. Go ahead and close the cover, bring it up to temperature. Today we are burning almond pellets from Knotty Wood. Got them on sale at Academy Sports. I've used them before. They're pretty good. They're usually pretty expensive. If I find something on sale, I pick it up. I'll run inside and prepare the meat, and we'll keep an eye on the Jackery while the meat cooks. Right now, using a negligible 31 watts. If I understand correctly, every few minutes, this will dump a couple more pellets to increase the heat. And that's when you see a very small spike in energy usage. But right now we're holding at about 31. We've reached our desired temperature of around 250 degrees. Starting to get some good smoke out of that tube. And we're sitting now at about 56 watts usage. Now I'm just going to move the tube into the smoker, close the lid, let that simmer for a few minutes. We are at 235. Still running pretty cold at 31 watts. Now from here I'm going to add the meat. We'll check in from time to time. This should take a couple hours to cook. I think you're going to use much more power than somewhere between 30 and 50 watts, depending on what the smoker is up to at the moment. Okay, those pork tenderloins are on. Looks like we got some good smoke going today. Lost a few degrees though. Let's see, we're running now at 56 watts. Okay, now let's go into the Camp Chef app. I want to set the probe for our target temperature is 145. I usually pull it off at about 140, and then I try to get some char on it by putting it over a higher temperature burner. So we'll start at 140. Now when the Camp Chef approaches that temperature, it should send an alert to your phone. It usually works. Sometimes it's delayed, sometimes it doesn't work. So you still have to kind of be alert and check in on it from time to time. Now speaking of apps, the Jackery also has its own app. So let's see what's going on. So here we are, it's using 56, 57 watts, and according to this, with current usage, I would get about 14 hours out of it. It looks like this cooked a little bit quicker than usual today. Just got to 140. I have my side burner going for a little bit of char, but most importantly, I only used about 7% of the Jackery, and we've been running again between 30 and 50 something watts. So there's the final product in case you were wondering. These cook very quickly and they absorb a lot of smoke flavor. Let's see what happens to power consumption if I put this into shutdown mode. I believe this burns off the remaining pellets. Now it looks like we're doing the same old 30 watts. Like I said, this did cook very quickly. It only used about 8% of the power. Well, it looks like I lied. While waiting for the shutdown to complete, I noticed it jumped up to about 240 watts. I guess similar to the startup. It must be burning off whatever is left in the pellet cup. It should be done in probably 10 to 15 minutes. So just a little more power usage than I thought. So in case of a real crisis where you don't have any power in the house or no propane or no charcoal, I think cooking on a pellet stove is actually reasonably efficient. It's a lot more efficient than I thought it would be. The Jackery is very, very interesting. I've done a couple of tests with it. It definitely works. The problem is, again, in a real crisis, how do you keep it charged? Right now I have power in the house, so I can just plug it in and that's fine. It is solar compatible. There is a cable that you can charge in the car, which is a lot slower. Just thinking of all the infrastructure damage in western North Carolina and the Appalachians, you don't have access to any power. How do you charge this thing? I guess that's really the problem. But if you need to cook or you're camping, and you have a little pellet smoker, the Jackery is definitely an option. So hopefully you learned something and this is useful information to you. So thanks for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.